Hello and welcome to the Amateur of Life and Death podcast. I'm Luke Lima.
And I'm Liz Plumpton.
We're delighted to be back for a fourth season of the podcast. We've had a little bit of a break between the end of season 3 and now, but we're back for 2025 and raring to go.
As always, each episode takes a look at a different aspect of the wonderful world of amateur theatre and features an amateur theatre maker talking about their theatrical life, theatrical loves, and the times when they've died on stage.
This month's episode explores Lucy Prebble's 21st century masterpiece, The Effect. We'll be talking to Jason Adam about his life and loves in amateur theatre, and we're also joined by Helena Lima. Jason and Helena are playing Tristan and Connie in the Crescent Theatre's forthcoming production of The Effect. The show is on in the Ron Barber studio from the 18th to the 25th of January 2025. Okay, and now we're delighted to welcome onto the podcast actor Jason Adam. Thank you for coming on, Jason.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Jason, tell us about your first love.
In general, or just theatre?
In theatre.
Cool.
So, what got you into theatre? How did it all start?
Okay, so firstly, year 9 when I was at school, that's Key Stage 3. They did a Key Stage 4 production of The Tempest.
Nice.
And I played Trinculo in the Key Stage 4 production of The Tempest. There's only 2 of us from Key Stage 3, and we played Trinculo and Stefano, and I thought, this is hilarious. Running around a stage, just being a bit out there and outlandish in a jester's costume. I think that's how they did it. And then the teachers next day were just like, oh, that was really good. That's what performance. I was like, this is something I could probably... It was that, I'll kick a ball around for the rest of my life, so... Yeah.
You made the right choice, I think.
You never see me play football.
What's been the love of your theatrical life? Just in general.
In general, some like favourite performances or what I've done.
You've seen or been in or...
Okay. Best thing I've probably ever done, really, was at uni. And Beth Gilbert would love this because she directed me in it. And I say this every time anyone says something, and they all moan, they all joke about me saying, "Oh, I was John Proctor in The Crucible," but I was, and it was one of the hardest but most rewarding things I've ever done. At uni, you don't really know what kind of actor you really are, but at that point, I was like, hang on. Because usually I used to do comedy stuff and like just really self-deprecating kind of things, because that was quite comfortable. So I tried that out, pushing myself to a different kind of role with John Proctor, and it's quite heavy, quite serious. I really enjoyed performing that kind of role. One of the best things I've ever seen was a production called Electrolyte. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but in 2017 I went to the Fringe to watch loads of random stuff, and I saw that in previews and I cried. It was like a piece of gig theatre. I've never seen gig theatre before. It was about a girl going through like psychosis, and all the other band members were like different characters here and there. I can't even describe it. I stood up and I gave a standing ovation in previews, and it was sold out for the rest of the run. It's one of the best things I've ever seen in terms of that.
So tell us about the one that got away. So any opportunity maybe that you had the opportunity to be involved in, it didn't happen in the end, or...
No, one that got away, I guess a role that I've always wanted to do, just haven't had the chance to. I wouldn't say got away because I haven't really been given the opportunity to do it anyway, but I know how I'd want to play Hamlet, and I know I am ready. I've been ready for a long time to play Hamlet. Don't know why. Yeah, but it's one on my list. I got a list of kind of a bucket list of characters, and he's front and centre at the minute. But I don't really do Shakespeare as much. I do Shakespeare with like the comedy characters, the butt of the jokes, all those kind of things, or the light relief, but never really any. Ironically, I've played Macbeth, but that was like my first job out of drama school, and the director was didn't really direct my soliloquies, so I had to just do it all myself. So I'd love to go back and do that one again, but with an actual bit of direction instead of doing it all on my own. But yeah, Hamlet would probably be the big one for me.
You just said Macbeth in the theatre as well.
Yeah, I'm dying, and oh, it's gone. See you later. Come to The Effect.
So tell us about a time when you died on stage.
Well, I've just died in the theatre. I've done it again. Died on stage. Done it a few times. Done it with Liz's production. Let the Right One In. That was brutal.
So was that your character your character.
Yeah. Not me dying, no. Just
Yeah, I mean,
it's just kind of like embarrassing stuff.
it could be
nothing
it could
really
be
goes.
the character that you played dying on stage, or a time when something went wrong for you.
So there's this vampire character who comes off the top of this kind of climbing frame thing, and I've just beat the teacher to. I've just headbutted the teacher, bullied Niall's character a fair bit, slapped my little brother about, which is Simon King's son. And oh, come on, that was the only thing I did. Came on, tore it up a bit. They was like, yeah, you want to do that? Yeah, I was like, tore it up a bit, messed it up a bit. And then she comes out. Oh, I can't remember what she did. I think she might have snapped my neck, I can't remember. But it was brutal. There's blood everywhere. It was horrible to do.
And now Luke and I are delighted to be joined by Helena Lima, who's here along with Jason. Both Helena and Jason are appearing in the Crescent Theatre's forthcoming production of The Effect by Lucy Prebble. So, hi, Helena.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay.
So The Effect was written and first performed in 2012. So tell us a bit about what the show is about and about your characters.
Cool. So The Effect is a clinical trial. They're testing a new anti-depressant drug out on these subjects, and we happen to be two of the subjects. And it's all about kind of the effect of the drug. Is it causing them to fall in love, or is them falling in love an actual real kind of thing between the two of them, and the drug plays no effect on that? So the audience are going through this kind of whole trial themselves, figuring out if the two's connection is true. Is it real? Is it one of them involved too much, or is the other one not as involved as it? Are they both on the drug? Those kind of questions coming in and out throughout the whole thing. Lucy Prebble kind of like really puts them in key places that allow the audience to think and go, hang on, am I following this story right? Are they both on the drug? Is one not? Is one? So those kind of questions do crop up. But for me, Tristan is kind of this. We've discussed it with Alex in rehearsal. He's kind of this drifter kind of character who doesn't really have much of a connection with family or anything like that. In the Stroop test, he responds later to the word father so there's these kind of little hints that he's not really. He just talks to Connie about kind of things. He's never really been loved by a person in the way that Connie describes in the play. And yeah, he gets, as the play goes on and on and on, he gets more and more infatuated with Connie and the way she is. And he's done these trials a lot. He's never seen anyone like Connie before. Yeah, he says, we don't get many girls doing these kind of things. I've done loads. And I think that initially takes him by surprise and goes, okay. So he kind of just goes into it without really thinking. I think just because there's in this 4-week experiment, and this is new, so he's done it a lot of times, so he's gonna feed off that new thing. He's funny. He's a bit charismatic, but not like arrogant sort of. So he's kind of Jack the lad, but then he's got loads of he's not really. I don't think he's really comfortable with himself, although he does come across as, confident. I think as he becomes vulnerable in front of Connie, the audience get to see that as well. Helena?
Connie's a bit different. I think she's she's a psychology student, so she's got an interest in trials, and I think she has a personal interest in depression, maybe to do with her family. So she's there to learn more from a practical sense. But then I also think that she's probably a bit bored with her life. And so she's looking for something else as well.
So one of the issues that the play explores is what we mean by falling in love, and to what extent that experience is a chemical or a hormonal reaction in the brain versus a spiritual connection. How do you define falling in love, and how does your interpretation affect how you play your character?
Huge question.
Bring the big guns out now.
Nowhere to hide.
Falling in love. Oh God. Love's very different to like lust, and I think I've misinterpreted what love used to be when I was, when you're growing up. And lust is kind of that initial kind of attraction, and then love is what carries it and follows it through. In terms of, being mutually interested in the same kind of things, you can talk about anything, and it's like, so when you meet someone for the first time, it feels like you've met them for like years. It feels like you've, that kind of thing. I think. Yeah, it's like you've seen. Yeah, it's the first time you've seen them, but it's like you've known them for years, really. I think that's what goes in my brain. It's a hard question though. And how do I play that with Tristan? Tristan kind of, I don't think he's ever been in love. I think he's loved things to a certain extent, but like probably gets bored quite easily, which is why he keeps drifting out into these experiments and just earning money to go travelling. He probably travels to one place and goes, yeah, this is alright, I've seen this, and there's no substance to it. I think it's the whole Connie stuff in the play. There's more substance to it.
So are you saying lust is chemical?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 100% lust is chemical. Thanks, Liz. This is what Liz is here. Lust is chemical. Love is spiritual. Open that. That's great.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those. For me, it's like one of those frog in water that's heating up kind of things. Like it's like I'm fine, and then suddenly it's like, wait, what happened? And yeah, I think Connie's probably less open than Tristan, which I think probably suits my personality. I think for different reasons. I think she's quite skeptical and she's quite analytical, and so yeah, she's quite kind of wary of that. But yeah, I think that I relate in some ways to her kind of attitude towards it, but not completely. I don't know. That's a really hard question.
So is it a surprise to her that she falls in love with Tristan, do you think?
I think so. I think it's one of those, like, suddenly it's... Because it's almost... She's, like, fighting against it in the scene where they... spoiler alert. Like, when they confess their love to each other. And she's much more like... she needs it kind of pulled out of her, which I can maybe relate to as well.
So, since 2012, the world has been through a global pandemic, just in case anybody missed that. Do you think that has changed anything about how the play will be read by a 2025 audience?
We've all experienced now being locked up for, like, months.
Yeah.
And these characters have the added layer of, like, are they on the drug? Are they on a placebo? But I think the audiences will be able to relate more to that kind of... claustrophobia and what that does to relationships if they were, locked down with other people and like the intensity of that.
I also think if like you weren't locked down with, say if you're locked down on your own and that isolation, like you can see that through. I was thinking about this, like this whole need to be connected to someone, and Tristan sees that in Connie and this whole need to be connected. I think that's the duality of it. If you've been locked down with someone, you get annoyed by them because you're just constantly on top of each other. But then if you haven't got that, if you haven't been connected with someone for a long time because you've been locked down on your own, that isolation can go the other way.
So, in the play, your characters are participating in a trial of a new drug, specifically an anti-depressant. Have you ever, or would you ever consider participating in a medical research trial?
If it was a trial about like mental health and things to like try and sort the pandemic that is mental health, I probably would, depending on what it would be. But because I didn't take too well to the antidepressants, so if there's a different way of addressing that issue, then I probably would get involved. Never really done one in my time. that's to do with like medical trials. No, you said you've done one, haven't you, Helena?
Well, I've done psychology studies, and at uni I did some like VO2 max, like fasted and non-fasted, but nothing like a clinical trial for a drug. I'm not great in medical, like hospital situations, so I don't think I would thrive in one.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are you enjoying about rehearsing the show?
Being in just a small cast, I think. I've done most of my shows really at the Crescent, have been in the main house really, I think, and big ensemble kind of numbers, bar a couple that have been in the studio, but yeah, really tackling like I've just done All My Sons, which is like 1940s America, Arthur Miller classic, and I'm like haven't really tested myself in terms of the modern kind of play world here, and I want to showcase. I'm enjoying showcasing kind of the range that I've got as a performer, and yeah, this kind of character that Tristan is, I've kind of put a lot of me into, which I'm enjoying, like playing and trying to keep it natural and have a bit of fun with it. I think rehearsals have been really fun as well, and we all get on. It's a really nice group of people, and I haven't come to a rehearsal thinking, God, I can't get this. I think I'm getting most of the things that Alex is given direction-wise, and there's a few tough things in this play that my character goes through that I won't say on here.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't even know how to like narrow it down. I'm just really enjoying it all. It's so well written, so it's just the scenes just feel good to do. I don't know, that sounds a bit silly, but
No, I think that makes sense.
You know.
You can feel as you're rehearsing for something. Sometimes you get a sense that something is landing and something seems to be effective. So I think that makes sense.
And the way it's written is really written, like, people stumble over their words and correct themselves and things like that. And
Yeah,
it's just really
very
interesting
natural.
the way it's written.
Have you done a show with the Crescent before?
Yeah, I did Love from a Stranger. And then I did Charlie's Aunt, like very small role. So yeah, and they're the only two plays I've really ever done in my life, apart from like school plays. And so yeah, like Jason said, they're all like period.
Sure.
And so it's been really nice as well to not have to fight my natural kind of mannerisms and way of talking and be in that like other mode. So yeah, that's been good as well.
Do you have a favourite moment from the play without too many spoilers? What is it? Why do you like it?
I like the warehouse scene. The warehouse scene's good. The warehouse scene is where they escape from the clutches of the trial. That sounds dramatic, doesn't it?
Probably will be.
Yeah, they've just taken like a dosage, and they're wired. Who knows? Connie wants to go outside, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been outside before. And we go outside, and that's like the first real moment, because they're not in the clutches of the experiment. It's the first true moment where they're really outside, and it's just them two. So it's kind of like the real test. We're outside of this experiment, the confinement to that. Is this an actual thing? And yeah, it's kind of real fun at the first moments, for me anyway, for Tristan, where he does really feel that Connie is someone that he's really, really fond of. And there may be a little dance in there at some point from someone on stage at that point, but I won't say any more. But yeah, it's a really, really nice moment in that scene.
Mine's like the opposite. There's like an argument which I like. It's they both kind of go through such a range of such like intense highs and lows in their relationship, and that's really fun. We've just kind of started rehearsing it this week, and yeah, it's just so different to the rest of the play, and it's just fun to just say things that you wouldn't say to someone normally,
And on the flip side, what's been the most challenging aspect of the show for you so far?
Getting what Helena just said, like getting to grips with with the highs and lows when they come. As an actor, you know when they're coming, but as the character, you don't. So like you have to feel it as the actor, going, okay, this is the bit where I'm at this point, I'm aggressive at this point. But as Tristan, you have to feel it in the moment, kind of thing. So it's finding that balance of getting that feeling true, because all of the things we do on stage have to reflect the truth of the scenes and of the moment, and in the world that we're in, the story that we're telling. So yeah, getting that highs and lows and actually really feeling them, because this drug is affecting us, but like we've just got to show how it is, and our hand shaking at what point and stuff like that. So really, yeah, it's a tough one to navigate, I think. If I've never been on a drug like this before, so making that feel true.
Yeah, and having the doses kind of run through it, not be like 0 to 100 to 0 to 100, but having the sense that it's kind of building the more they're taking, and it not just being like, okay, now we're on it and now we're crazy and then now we're not, but having it kind of, obviously it's more intense when they've just taken it, but having it in the background. Also, I found there's a lot of, well, in parts, physicality of like the medical parts, and I have found it's trying to be quite stylized, but I don't know, I guess once we have all the other elements it'll probably feel better. But I don't know if it's because my kind of performance background is dance, and so I don't know if it's because I'm used to being very precise with movements on a beat and things like that in a precise timing, and with this we're trying to make it kind of like that, but like with no music or anything obviously at the moment, and so it just feels very jarring to me, but I'm sure when all the the sound and the proper props and all of that comes together, it will look really good.
Yeah, I come from a dance background too. You'll see that in the play.
You've just given away the spoiler.
No spoilers.
So is there anything else you wanted to mention? I mean, any other business? Happy to chat about anything else you think of or wanted to mention?
Yeah. Ooh, it's very. I mean, I've watched the National Theatre one, and it's very thought provoking. So I'm hoping we have the kind of same effect with that, and also like just showcasing the chemistry between us two as well on stage, making sure the audience get like they feel that relationship, they really invest in that relationship as well. I think that's central to it. If they don't invest in that, then A, we're doing our jobs wrong, and B, they're wasting their time. Because if they don't follow that journey, they're not going to get the reward at the end of it when it comes through. It's very funny, surprisingly funny.
I was just about to ask, like, it's obviously the content of it is actually quite thought-provoking and quite deep and challenging, I think. So I was about to ask, actually, there's comedy in there?
There's loads of funny moments between all four, even Liz's character, Dr. Lorna. Was her last name James? Lorna James. With Dr. Toby, Dan's character, like the way they interact. I won't say too much about their relationship. That's wicked when that unfolds. So that's another thing as well. The two relationships between the two psychiatrists and then the two trialists, like their two relationships when they unfold is really, really interesting. You're looking at their history and then you're looking at us developing. So the differences between that as well are fascinating. Yeah, Lorna's got some cracking dialogue.
And in unexpected places as well, like my character and the doctor as well. In our rehearsals, humour has come up where I didn't necessarily expect it when I was reading the script. So yeah, there's a lot of humour. I think, yeah, hopefully people will leave talking about questions raised around, mental health and medicine and love. And
you need that humour though for this, in order for the questions and the payout to actually happen. You can't have... Most thought-provoking things are comedic, in my experience. The moments that you think, oh, and then the big serious moment hits, you go, then that's really where it hits you.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm hoping we can get the right tone and the right balance. So far in rehearsals, when we've run through it, it feels like it's hitting that point.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Anything
you.
else you want to say?
Come see the effects.
And we couldn't let Helena escape without subjecting her to our backstage binaries. So Helena, we're just looking for your first instinctive response to each of these questions. and then we'll give you an opportunity to clarify one or two of them at the end if you would like to. On stage or backstage?
On stage.
Studio or main stage?
Studio.
Act or direct?
Act.
Lighting or sound?
Sound.
Rehearsal or performance?
Ooh. Performance.
Tech or dress?
Dress.
Modern or period?
Modern.
Comedy or tragedy?
Tragedy.
Set or props?
Set. Oh, I don't know.
Chemical or spiritual?
Spiritual.
Biology or psychology?
Psychology.
Placebo or active drug?
Placebo.
Okay. Are there any of those you'd like to clarify?
Yeah, what was the one that...
Rehearsal or performance?
Performance, yeah. I love... The rehearsals are so fun. I love the rehearsal. Oh, I really don't know. I love the rehearsals, but there's no other feeling like performing, is there?
It's the longest binary answer you had.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you
I
what
just
happens,
love it.
Helena, as you do more performances, you will enjoy rehearsals more, usually. That's what I found. Give it another 20 years and you're like, oh, I love rehearsals. You don't have the stress of the audience and like, did they like it? Was there a reviewer in? You can just enjoy the process.
You hate them.
Yeah. Did you say placebo?
Yeah. Did I? Like I said earlier, I'm not great in hospital situations. And so being a test subject for a scary new drug terrifies me. So yeah, I'd be hoping for the placebo.
I know we can't see it, but I could just see you're very clearly thinking, how can I word this the best way without sounding...
I think if I can quote one of my character's lines, she says, the history of medicine is essentially the history of placebo, since we know now almost none of it worked.
There we go. I'm just protecting my...
This is off book.
Liz has been off book since our first rehearsal.
Oh dear.
Oh, better book my ideas.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And we look forward to the effect in the Ron Barber studio from the 18th to the 25th of January.
Hopefully with you off script. Thank you for listening to the Amateur of Life and Death podcast. If you'd like to listen to more, make sure you subscribe at podcast.crescent-theatre.co.uk or via Spotify or Apple Podcasts to get the next episode.
You can find out more about the Crescent Theatre Birmingham and our upcoming productions, including The Effect, by visiting www.crescent-theatre.co.uk or by following us on social media. Amateur of Life and Death is a Crescent Theatre production. This episode was presented by Luke Plimmer and Liz Plumpton. The music is by Brendan Stanley. This episode was edited by Liz Plumpton.